Now, last week, I talked about this concept of stillness in doing your vocal exercises. Basically, as you're doing any kind of vocal exercises, or at least most kind of variations, we're looking for two things. The first one is we want to get the feeling of adjusting the pitch. Now, what does it feel like to stretch? What does it feel like to change pitch? And just do that. And then the second part is keeping stillness in basically everything else. The vowel, the way you articulate that sound, and also the volume, not getting louder, not getting softer, keeping that stillness. So to illustrate this today, I've got a live example of me working with one of my private students. And here we're basically incorporating these two things into his practice. So let's dive into this lesson together. Goo, goo, goo. Goo, 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 goo. Oh, actually, let's do this, yeah. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Nice. And your focus right now is just, can I get some, can I just kind of stretch my voice up and down and try not to change the vowel or the volume too much? Just broad sense. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Nice. And if you notice that something is not quite there, like, oh, I could probably, just based off how I know my voice, I could probably get a better stretch. I could probably keep my vowel a bit more stable. Do self-adjust, like try to fix it yourself, but like do it in the next one. So like basically, goo, 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 goo. Maybe I punch in a bit harder. I'll fix it on the next one instead.
Okay.
Goo, 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 goo. 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 Oh, nice. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Hey, these are great. I mean, how did they feel?
That felt good. Yeah, I know. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing I remember that you pointed out a bunch of times, but it finally clicked in my head. It's just like keeping the goo, and I go goo. That makes a big difference. It makes it so much easier.
Okay, so this is part one of this lesson. And really, as we've talked about here, we're trying to keep the vowel and the volume steady. Notice how in the end, he talks about how he's just focusing on keeping that vowel goo, goo, right? Keeping that vowel exactly the same. Because once you can learn how to not change the vowel, even though the pitch is moving, this then gives us room to focus on the part that needs to move, which is, what does it feel like to change pitch? What does it feel like to go up and down our range? And how do I do it without any of the other clutter? Because most of us are so used to kind of changing pitch with extra volume, changes in the shape in our mouth, that it's very hard for us to pinpoint that exact feeling of how to just stretch the chords by themselves. Now, I want you to listen to this next part of the lesson where we focus more on the actual part that moves, the stretching of the vocal folds. And I want you to listen to, especially near the end of this part, where he makes the correct adjustment, stretching without losing that stillness. Now, of course, right now you're focusing on the still part of the motion, which is keep your lips and all vowel, right? But now I want you to focus on the part that is moving, which is the stretch. Because you'll notice here, what was really cool is when you kept the still part really clean, the vowel, the volume was right, the pitch was actually miles better than what you normally do. Because normally there's always like a bit like it kind of, it's on, it's kind of off. Now that you don't have that distraction, I want you to see if you can notice the stretch even more. How you get into those pitches, yeah. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Nice. You don't have to like, what is it? Keep doing the same way you did before, where you kind of like, you didn't really have to go goo, 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 goo. Like you didn't hold back or hesitate. You still go for it. You're just kind of observing here. Yeah. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Yep. Goo, 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 goo. 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 Missed. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Nice. I loved that one you fixed because it took us 3 tries. but you fix it without adjusting anything else. Like, because normally you'll get to the pitch, but it'll be like, you go nasal. But
Right.
here you kind of stuck to everything you need and you made the only adjustment that needed to happen, the pitch. So that last few reps is a primary example of what needs to happen. Notice how initially he actually felt a bit flat. He didn't quite make it to the pitch. But rather than adjusting the parts that don't have to move, the still part, the vowels, the volume, right? Or even kind of going a bit nasal, right? Which is distorting the vowel. Rather than doing all of those unnecessary movements, he just focused on isolating the stretch, which allowed the voice to sit right into that place where it needed to go. And it is this constant process of self-adjusting. Every time he falls flat, rather than kind of changing the parts that don't need to be changed, you just kind of isolate that stretch a bit more. That is what allows you, when you're singing a song, when you're kind of performing, to sing with more ease, because all of a sudden, you're now using the correct muscles to get to the pitch. Anyway, team, hopefully sharing this live lesson with a private student of mine was useful. If it was, just let me know down in the comments below, and please do all the usual social media stuff. It really, really helps this channel grow. If you're on the podcast, leaving a 5-star review would be amazing. My name is Ivan. I'm your voice teacher. If you're interested in studying with me, links down in the description below. Apart from that, I'll see you next week for our weekly tutorials just like this. Take care.